It is with pride, gratitude and hope I stand before you today. I am a long way from my home, the home of my ancestors since time began, and the home of my descendants forevermore. My name is Sue Coleman-Haseldine. I was born into poverty and the margins of Australian society on the Aboriginal mission of Cuniba in 1951. At this time my people were not allowed to vote, and we had very few means to be understood, let alone be heard. I was born into one of the oldest living cultures known on earth, and our place that I love, a dusty, arid paradise on the edge of a rugged coastline. Our land and waters are central to our outlook, and religion and the resources the land provides is the basis for my people's health and happiness. I was born just before the desert lands to our north were bombed by the deadliest weapons on earth in an extensive, secretive and devastating manner by the Australian and British governments. From 1953, for over a decade, areas known as Emu Fields and Maralinga were used to test 9 full-scale atomic bombs ranging from 1 to 27 kilotons. These were big atomic bombs that the British and Australian governments were proud of. Then the British did approximately 700 more tests in secret with plutonium and other nuclear material, leaving the land highly radioactive. We weren't on ground zero, but the dust didn't stay in one place. The winds brought the poison to us and many others. Aboriginal people, indeed all people at that time, knew nothing about the effects of radiation and their future poisonous outcomes. No one knew the silent, invisible killer was falling amongst us. 63 years on, my small hometown of Ceduna is being called the cancer capital of Australia. There are so many deaths in our region of various cancers. Myself and my granddaughter have no thyroid, and there are many others in our area with thyroid problems. Fertility issues appear common. But there has been no long-term assessment of the health impacts in the region, and even those involved in the test sites' botched cleanups have no recourse because they cannot prove their illnesses is linked with exposure to nuclear weapons radiation. The impact of the Maralinga and Emu Fields bomb testing has had far-reaching consequences and is still being felt today. You ask a young person, what do you think you will die from? The answer is cancer. Everyone else is. I have lived my life learning about the bomb tests and also learning that the voice of my people and others won't always be understood or heard. I learnt from old people, now gone, that speaking up is important, and by joining with others from many different places and backgrounds, that our voices can be amplified. Through these steps I found ICAN, or perhaps ICAN found me. ICAN as an organisation, as a collective of passionate, educated people working for a clear goal, has been so important to me. To know that my story and my voice helps bring recognition to the past and can shape the future of nuclear prohibition has strengthened my resolve. Being involved in ICAN has been a double-edged sword. On one hand, and for the first time in my life, I no longer feel alone or isolated. I have met others from many parts of the globe who have similar stories and experiences and who are passionate advocates for a nuclear-free future. But the flip side of this is my understanding of just how widespread and just how devastating the nuclear weapons legacy is across the globe. To learn that so many weapons still exist sends fear to my heart. ICAN is a worthy winner of the Nobel Peace Prize. In a short time, we have gathered support for a treaty to finally outlaw nuclear weapons and help eliminate the nuclear threat. The vision was reached in part with so many nations adopting the Nuclear Ban Treaty in July 2017. And we should celebrate this win and the opportunity to work together to stop the suffering and assist countries to make amends to nuclear weapons victims by acknowledging the permanent damage done to land, health and culture. Unfortunately, the Australian government, along with other first world nations, didn't even participate in the treaty negotiations. They haven't signed the treaty yet, but over time we feel confident they will. A lot has changed since I was born. Aboriginal people now have the right to vote in Australia. but we still battle for understanding about our culture and the Australian nuclear weapons legacy. My home is still remote and most of my people still poor. But we are also no longer alone. We have the means and the will to participate, to share and to learn, and to bring about lasting change. ICAN's work is not done. Our work is not done. We will continue to work together. A world without nuclear weapons is a world we need to and are creating. I stand here in hope and gratitude for the opportunity to participate. I stand here with pride, and I stand here for our future and the generations to come. I thank my wonderful team back home. Without you all, my path would be a lot harder to travel. Thank you to ICAN, and thank you to the Nobel Peace Prize. ICAN, cooey!